Hello everybody and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight I'm going to make a quick video, kind of a tutorial of how you can edit some basic things of your campaign in Ultimate Admiral for fixing some of those irritating little things that happen, whether it be that you're trying to capture a certain territory that's ungoverned next to you but your government refuses to do anything about it, or maybe you encountered a glitch where a province got taken from you that shouldn't have been taken. Like, legitimately, in my campaign that I've got going on, one of the things that I edited was that we still own the port, but the territory of Eastern Siberia just got yeeted from us and ended up being Russian again, even though there was no battle or anything. It was just a bug, right? So this is going to be a way that you can fix those things on your own. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you want to come in here. Actually, I say the first thing. What you should do is go in and make backup saves. Okay, that should be your first order of business. So in your campaign, whatever you're wanting to update, just go ahead and save that. Save that under multiple slots. So in my example, I'm going to be showing the second slot here, but save it in multiple slots, okay? That way, you always have a backup of your game save in case you screw something up, because you can make mistakes that will render your save useless, okay? Keep that in mind. All right, so the next thing you want to do is you want to click this little star compass thingy up here. Grab that. This is your bin to JSON converter. It is automatically in the game. You don't have to do anything crazy there. And over here, you have your game saves. Now, here's the first important thing to remember. The game saves start with 0. So save 0 is actually the number 1 slot. Save 1 is the number 2 slot. Save 2 is the number 3 slot. Save 3 is the number 4 slot. Save 4 would be the number 5 slot. Simple as that, right? In this instance, we're going to be working on the game save 2. So we want to actually convert our save 1 to bin. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Or we're going to convert it to JSON. Sorry. So by converting this to JSON, that's going to add this save file, which doesn't change this save file at all. This save file still exists. It just makes a copy of it in a JSON file format and leaves it in the folder. Now, the next thing we need to talk about is where to find said folders, right? I've got it saved on mine, but it should be relatively similar for you guys as well. So let me just go ahead and see if I can't go display capture. Get rid of the Ultimate Admiral for the moment. And we will grab this one. Default. Oh, that's headset. I'm a dumb. I'm a dumb. I meant this one. There we go. Primary monitor. Here we go. All right. So what we want you guys to be able to see is to go on your, open up your files, right? You want to go to here, your Explorer, then go simply down to Windows, okay, wherever you save it. You want to go to Users. You want to go to your username. So for me, it's Spartan. Okay. App Data. Local Low. And then to Game Labs. And you'll see your Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts folder. I highly recommend that you pin this, okay? You can right-click and pin this to quick access for future use. Comes in real handy. So you pin it, and suddenly you double-click it, and you are in the Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts folder, okay? So one of the things you're going to be looking for is that your game saves are right here. There's nothing here. It's just right here, right? So you have save 0, save 1, bin. Okay, these are your bin files. These are the ones that the game actually loads into for your campaign. And then you have this JSON file. The JSON file is the one that we just created. So you have a save 1 and a save 1 JSON. So a bin file, JSON file. See what I'm saying? So the JSON file is what you actually need. So now we would go over to our, let's get rid of that and go to the Chrome. There you go. You are going to open up the Chrome JsonEditorOnline.org. All lowercase, no spaces, just JsonEditorOnline.org. Okay? And that's what you'll open up. And when you do, you should be greeted with this screen here. Okay? In the top left portion, you will see that you have an open. You click open from disk, and you will go to exactly where you just made your save, right? So we just created this pin. So you have your pin here if you go to home, and this brings us to our Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts folder that we just made a pin for. All right, and then we want to double click or just click and open the save one JSON file. Okay, we do that. It takes a moment for it to load in. Okay, it is now officially loaded in. Our game save is ready to be edited at this point. Now, there are a few ways you can edit it. You got text. Good luck. You have tree. A little bit easier, but still not ideal. And then you have table. I highly recommend table because it just splits everything up into a much more user-friendly sort of scenario, right? All right. Now, we're going to go over a couple of things. This is just different things that you edit to make different things happen. And I am not an expert. These are just things that I have discovered my short amount of time editing my game saves on Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. So I will just go over a few things with you. Obviously, players. What is this? This is all of the countries in the game. Okay? What does this give you access to? Well, whatever country you are currently playing will always be country 0. You will always be on the top. If you're Japan like we are in this one, Britain, France, Germany, US, Russia, Italy, Austria, Spain, China, you guys get it. Now, you'll notice that is main is selected for whatever country you want. So technically, if you wanted to, you could switch countries in the middle of a campaign. Wouldn't recommend it, but it's something you could do. I have not tried this, so use at your own risk. Is AI? Pretty self-explanatory. Every other nation that's not you is AI. Make sense? And then we have is major. What does this mean? This means is it a major nation? All of the 9 major nations in the game are currently here. Japan, Britain, France, Germany, US, Russia, Italy, Austria, Spain, China, Arabia. Okay? And then it'll list everything based on what it is currently in the game. Now, obviously, you're going to have some integers here that are above the standard format. So you'll have the E plus 12 and so on and so forth. That just means the number is higher than they're capable of putting into this small area. Okay? Keep that in mind. Now, you'll notice that it has respect, reputation, government, main party. A lot of this stuff you're not going to touch, right? Most of this stuff you're probably not going to touch. Now, one of the things you could touch is your shipyard, and you could actually change this. All right. So like I said, you can change your total capacity of your shipyard right here. Currently, we have a 2,031,991 capacity shipyard. Okay, so massive. I own almost half the world in my campaign, so I needed more shipyard capacity than was capable of being done despite constantly rebuilding and expanding our shipyards for the entirety of the campaign. So I just went in and edited it. Moving on, you'll notice there's a couple of things here. It tells you how long it takes for a shipyard to be built. This one is 24 months. How many months are left in the current build cycle for the shipyard? 24 months. You can change this to 1 month if you want, and it'll be finished on your next turn. And then, of course, you can change this, the shipyard total build amount, to allow you to expand your shipyard by more the next time that you get it. So you could change this to 1 month and then change this to 100,000. And the next time you forward a month, your shipyard will increase by 100,000 tons. So just little things like that. Now, I do not recommend ever touching the tech budget, intelligence budget, training budget sort of thing, because you can really goof up your game that way. Ask me how I know. I have actually dabbled in some of this stuff over the time, and I've found out there are certain things you probably should just not touch in this so far. Obviously, you also have your crew pool. You could change this if you wanted to. You can see just how absurd the crew pool is for some nations compared to what we currently have. It just is what it is. All right, moving on, you'll notice that there are peace treaties. You'll see technologies. A lot of this stuff you're just not going to touch. Again, tech levels and stuff, I wouldn't touch any of this. Just let it go because I don't know how many it goes up to be perfectly honest. I don't know if each level or each thing has a set level that it goes up to, or if there is a maximum level on certain texts that aren't as high on others. Haven't done enough experimenting with that to find out. The one thing I do think is pretty funny is you could technically change your name if you wanted to. But again, you are the player, so the player does not actually have an AI name. Just as a heads up. Though it does have a Japan AI personality. Okay. We do not have auto add crew to ships currently checked on ours, but you could click it here if you wanted to. Again, there's a button in the game for that, so you don't really need to. This will also tell us how much our training of adding crew to our crew pool is going to go up. And then, of course, our base income. Again, these are large integers that are over the limit of this thing to produce, so it gives you an extended number. Okay. Other than that, under the players, that's about as far as you're going to get. Now, you could, again, click on this and go through the tech years and try to figure out this for yourself. Personally, I haven't touched any of this. This is just over my head. I don't know why some of them are minuses and some of them are pluses. I can only assume that certain nations get bonuses to certain techs and other nations do not. I could be wrong on that, but I would assume that is. Maybe it has something to do with the difficulty level. I am on legendary difficulty, so there is a possible that we get certain negatives to our incomes and techs and whatnot because of that. All right. Next, editing areas. Now, areas, I don't think you need to edit. Editing areas. Areas are like things like the Japan Sea, the Bering Sea, the Atlantic Ocean, and so on and so forth, the Persian Gulf. Like, you're not going to edit this stuff very often. Or at least I haven't edited it at all. One thing you will probably end up editing is your provinces. So if you click on provinces, and a little handy tip here, if you click the ID, you will sort this by alphabetical order, which comes in real handy when you're searching for a specific territory, because there are a lot of them in the world. I know, shocker. So, quick, this is going to be two purposes. Provinces will serve two purposes for you. One, it will allow you to go in and if you need to, like you can adjust who the controller of it is. You never adjust this, leave this be. Okay, the center claim player, just leave it be. Don't ever touch it. Controller and controller player, those are the two that you change. So if you wanted to take Afghanistan, for instance, you would change it to your country that you're playing, and then the controller to your country that you're playing. That's it. That's all you need to worry about. You can see that there's a lot of other stats that come with this, but you don't need to worry about any of those, right? Now, what is the other purpose that this will give you? Simple. When we go to our next section that I'm going to show you guys, this will come in handy because this is a reference for how you need to spell certain things in order for the game to recognize what you're trying to tell it to do. Because if you don't realize and you spell things correctly, there are certain typos in this part of the game that when the game goes to look it up, you have to spell it the way this particular table tells you. Okay? Because if you don't, it will inevitably fail. And it'll get stuck when you're loading into the game under the battles section, as we will get into in a moment. But as you can see, all of the provinces are in here. And you can change them at will, or you can use this as a table to look up how things are spelled. And notice that when you have a space in any of these, like New Caledonia, Newfoundland, okay, any space is an underscore. Big deal, okay? There's a big difference, okay? We'll go over it. All right, now let's get out of that, and we're going to go down to another thing that you're probably going to deal with. Now, obviously, you could edit minor alliances and allow you to have a minor alliance with any of the minor alliances in the game. You can change any of these minor nations that are currently here. that are currently in a thing, you can just change them to whatever country you are over here. Like, for instance, if I wanted Argentina to be in alliance with us, I could just swap USA over to Japan. Simple as that. I haven't done any of that because I don't really need to. That being said, alliances, sometimes you might run into a situation where you need to cancel an alliance and the game won't let you. This is where you can do that. You can also do that with edit relations. Okay? Edit relations is the easiest way to do it. So you'll see up here in Japan, we currently have our relation with Britain, France, Germany, US, Russia, Italy, Austria, Spain, China. All right, this is a negative number, meaning we are about to go to war with Britain. We are at minus 100, which means we are at war with France. You get it. Germany is a positive number, which means that we are friendly with Germans. So anything that is a positive integer means good. Anything that is a negative integer is almost war, right? Simple, straightforward, easy to do. 0 to 100, whether you just do standard or negative, determines whether it's good or bad. But 0 to 100 is your range here, okay? And again, your country that you're playing will always be the first one in the list. So that does come in real handy. All right. Now, if you go to plus 100, you can put 100 here and not check the is alliance, and you wouldn't be in an alliance with them. You would have to wait for the event to pop up saying, hey, they would like an alliance with you in order to form that alliance. But if you select is an alliance, then you will become an alliance with whoever you've selected. Straightforward, simple, easy, right? Obviously, you also have your victory points over here for a war that you could be potentially in. So if we look at our war with France right now, you can see that victory points wise, we have quite a lead in this war total. So yeah, definitely hilarious. From a peace treaty chance, you can see that we're at a 5 peace treaty. Now, I don't know what this goes up to, but considering 5 keeps popping up over and over again, I'm going to say that 5 is probably the maximum. Like, they would definitely prefer a peace treaty with us right now, but I keep saying no. So, there you go. Now, again, I don't know, since this says chance, I don't know if this is 5 as in, 5% chance. I don't know if this is 5 out of, 20% chance. So 20 times 5 is 100% chance of a peace treaty. That sort of thing. So let me know what you guys think. Now, obviously, last treaty check date is 714 turns. These are all turns. Doesn't tell you the month or anything like that or your year. It's how many turns are in the game. You would have to do the math yourself if you wanted to start messing with that. Nations too far away. Obviously, I don't think they utilize this anymore, to my knowledge. Okay, so that is the relations tab. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at is Colonial Conquests. All right, there is currently a Colonial Conquest, which is a land battle going on. Or no, I lied. This is not a land battle. This is a this is where you'll find naval battles as well, and this is what this is. This is a naval conquest. We are navally invading, so a naval invasion of Liberia, okay, at the port of Monrovia. So they're not a major ally. They generate battle when enter radius false, okay? And then, of course, it has its own unique battle ID. We don't need to worry about that. The win header, defeat header, we don't really care about that either. It tells you the attacker kills, defender kills. You can change these at will if you want, depending on what you're doing. You can see that it is, in fact, a naval invasion from Japan, and the defender is France, okay? And then it'll list the world coordinates of not just the port where it's happening, but also the size of the circle. So that's what all of that is, okay? So, again, the biggest thing to know here is if you do have a naval invasion and you want to change anything about it, you can change the duration. So the total duration is 6 months for this to finish, and we are currently 3 months into that 6 months. So you can change this. You could say, hey, we want this to finish next month, so put this at 5, and as soon as you forward a month, it ends. This is your required tonnage. You need 66,995 tons. We currently have 349,897 tons. So pretty high chance of taking Liberia, right? Now, there's other things that go into that as well, and I don't know if it's going to show up here or not. Yeah, additional required tonnage. If you have an enemy fleet pop into your thing, this will be not zero. So it will go up depending on the size of the fleet that pops into your naval invasion. So just as a heads up. Obviously, if you had blockades going, which I don't currently have any blockades, you would see them here. You have minefields, open canals. Again, we don't really have anything to do with that, but if maybe you wanted to get the Panama Canal open early because you're playing the U.S. and you're tired of sailing all the way around the world, I get it. So you could do that. Conversely, you just wait for the Panama Canal to open in 1914. Anyway, moving on to the last thing that I think you guys are probably most interested in, and that is province battles. Now, we have quite a few province battles going on currently. These are the land battles that are currently going on the map. So as you can see, we have France attacking our province. So the French are the attacker. The defender is Japan. And the area that is being attacked from is Liberia. And the area that is being attacked is the Ivory Coast. Okay? So how do you want to look at the syntax of how everything is set up. So here, we just have the name of the battle. So it is Liberia _ Ivory Coast. Now notice, there is no underscore between Ivory and Coast. That is because this is just a standard header for the province battle. I don't think it actually plays any sort of difference whatsoever. But you separate the two provinces that are fighting by an underscore, and then if you do have a space in between your territory, you wouldn't put an underscore. Make sense? Then, in the attacker slot, if you're the attacker, you would go here. So Japan, or your country, or if you're the defender, your country, you get it. So attacker would be, in our case, for the first one, France. Defender is Japan. Next, we need to look at the province ID. Now, this is the part where you have to make sure that you are absolutely correct, because this is most likely the part that you're going to screw up. Now, Liberia, Ivory Coast, super simple, right? They're pretty much exactly what you'd think they are, except Ivory Coast has a space in its name. So in this particular spot, the province ID is an underscore, okay? And that goes right back to the provinces table that I showed you earlier. If you're ever in doubt, go there, look up the province ID for the thing that you want, and then make sure that you can paste that in here. Okay, so Liberia is attacking the Ivory Coast, and that is France attacking Japan. Super simple, nothing to it, right? There are currently, you do have to fill in all this, by the way, too. So, if worst case scenario, if you just want to start a new one, say, for instance, we wanted to start one of these, we could just right-click it, and then insert after, and we would start a new row. Okay, so if I wanted to, I could straight up start a new conflict here, and we could do any part of this. So like, for instance, all right, so I've pulled up my map, and right now, like, the only thing that I can think of that would be even remotely close to needing to be grabbed would be, say, Tripolitania grabbing the Pheasant Gadames. I've never heard of it, but that's what we're going to be looking for. So that is our thing. So we're going to take Tripolitania into the Pheasant Gadames. Okay? So the first thing we want is Tripolitania. And then, of course, underscore. Again. Pheasant Gadames. All right. So remember what I said about not knowing the province ID. We want Pheasant Gadames. Okay. We're going to apply this for now because we can come back to it. So apply that. Then we're going to go back up here to province IDs, or provinces, right? And we're already in this, so we will click the ID to sort it. And we want to go down to F because it is Json Editor. And it is exactly what we thought. So it is Json with 2 Z's. So Fezzan dash Editor. It's a weird one. So this would have caught me off guard, but yes. So now that we know that that's a thing, and the other thing you can do is you can just copy it, right? So you can just click that and copy. Go over here to our province battles again, and because we've already done this, you can see I've already got that part done, no problem. Then the attacker would be Japan. The defender, this is an ungoverned territory. So this is the part that you guys are probably looking forward to the most, to help take ungoverned territories and whatnot. So in this particular instance, we would simply write neutral. That's it. Just neutral. If you're not in a major nation, you are neutral. Okay? Now, you can change this to an actual, like, country if you want. So, like, if you're attacking Json Editor and you want to go up against their actual government, you could simply put their name in here instead. But we're not going to do that. Now, in this instance, the value of the attacker province ID, this is the part that's important. We got to make sure we go over here and we want Tripolitania, right? So Tripolitania, no capitals. Tripolitania, and the defender is Json Editor. And that's what we just like copied, so we know that that is correct. All right, now here 0. Okay, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. All right, now here's the part that's going to get a little bit iffy. All right, so this is where we haven't talked about yet. So a value advance is what percentage of the capture have you already got. Do not set this at 0. I would recommend setting this to around 20 to 50, somewhere in that neighborhood. You could go 10. It's 100 means that you have it, right? So that means it's finished. So 10 means it's at 10%, so on and so forth, right? The value of red advanced turns means how many times have you been pushed back in this fight. So as you can see, currently nobody has been pushed back yet in their fights. So if you have a bad month and your army gets pushed back, this will be a 1. If it happens 2 months in a row, it'll be a 2, so on and so forth. So for this instance, we will simply set this at a 50. Okay, you could go 50s. I always recommend putting a decimal and 0 after it, so that the game is so it stays in the same like format. Okay. Now over here, this is the part that is gonna be scary for you guys. Okay, we don't know what this is, right? We know that these are our armies, right? Japan versus whoever. In this case, Japan versus France. But this is not just our army, but also the entirety of the Japanese and the French armies. We're just going to copy this. Now, when we go to paste this, you want to double click the value. And when you paste it, it's going to ask you to paste as JSON instead, and you just want to click that. Okay? Now you'll see that this is the same as the rest. Okay, so whichever one we just picked, that's going to be the one that it chooses for the army size that's against it. Now, in the game, you're going to notice when you load in, if everything is typed correctly and everything, when you load into the game, there should be now a land battle between these two provinces. And the army size will include the French army as well. But because the French army is not on your side, they will immediately abandon you, and so leaving your army to face the neutral army that's already there. Okay? So that's the way that I do it. That way you kind of, like, it's not just giving yourself provinces. Now keep in mind, you don't want to do a lot of these at one time, because for every one of these that you end up taking, it increases your unrest. It can increase your unrest by quite a bit. So if you add too many battles all at the same time, it is possible to end up maxing out your unrest, and when your unrest gets to 100, your government will be overthrown. So keep that in mind if you're going to do this. Now, for the sake of doing this, I am going to go ahead and apply this. I want to go back up and just double check the provinces one last time. We will go to, let's make sure we do this. We're going to go down and look at Tripolitania and make sure that I spelled that right as well. And I did. Okay. So I just wanted to make sure. I didn't know if it would just be called Tripoli in the thing. But you always want to double check what you're typing with this to save you a little bit of hassle. Because if you screw this up, what'll happen is as you're loading into the game, it will just simply stop loading in, and the thing down in the bottom right-hand corner it will stop at is battles to let you know that that's where the issue is. Okay? So when you go to log in, if you made a mistake, don't freak out, but the game won't load in and it'll stop at the battles section of loaded. Okay? So now that we've done everything that we're going to do here, the next thing we want to do is save it, right? So we click up here, we save to disk, save one because that's what it's already called, right? Then what we're going to want to do is go in and open up our downloads, which you can do from inside that, or I just do it from here and open a new tab. Let me go ahead and show you guys real quick what I'm doing. Now that Chrome is done, we can go back to display capture. All right. So I'm going to go to my downloads folder, which is in my hard disk drive, and you'll see that save one is here. So we can click copy, go over to our Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts folder that's already open, and click paste. Now because this is a clone, you'll see it's got this after it. You don't want to leave that in there. You also don't want to leave your current JSON file in here because it will automatically take that as the thing. And when you rename this, this will be conflicting, right? So what I highly recommend you do is create a new folder in here called backup JSONs, right? Simple. You can see I had a previous version in here from December. So let's just go ahead and delete that. The reason we do this is for an extra level of backup, right? So this save file, we know is a good save file. It is the one that we were working on. So we can take this, just simply click it, drag it up to that folder. It's fine. Your computer may argue with you, but it doesn't matter. We just simply moved it to a folder that we know that if worse comes to worst and we corrupted something, we can always get it back. It's that simple. All you have to do to get that back is simply copy it from there or move it from there back out here, and then you can convert it back and you'll have your game saved back. That's why it's always important to have backups, guys. Now, before we get in, we want to reset this, rename it to just save one. Okay, that's it. Make sure it is just save one. Now, if we go ahead and pull up our Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts again, we want to exit out of this, close. I'll show you right now. So as you can see, Tripolitania is the one that we started the fight from, and we're going into this territory here. Okay, so you can see there's not currently something there. This is the save file that we were just editing. So what we do is we exit out of that, and I highly recommend that you keep that open while you're editing the save file. Just so that you know which provinces that you need to control and so on and so forth. But you go right back up to your compass up here in the top, and you click your save one JSON, and then you go ahead and convert it to bin. And what this does is as soon as you convert this to bin, it replaces the save one bin file that's right here. Completely overwrites it. Okay, so keep that in mind. So as soon as it overwrites it, this is now your new save. So when you go to continue your campaign, we are going to click on the save to and load it up. And this will be the edited game save. So when we pull this open, like I said, if we screwed up, down here in the bottom right hand corner where it's loading world, after it gets to the, I think custom, after custom usually is the battles tab. And it usually like clicks through it like instantly. But if there's a problem, it will actually come up there and stop at battles down here in the bottom right hand corner where I'm kind of circling where it says loading world. So just give it a moment to load in because Ultimate Admiral takes forever to load up. Yep, and there you go. You see it got straight through. So we didn't screw it up, and now there should be, if we did everything correctly, a land battle, and it is, between Tripolitania and Pheasant Gadames. Right? Now, look at this. This is what I was talking about. See how it gives them an absurd number of army? Don't worry about it. As soon as you click next turn, they go away anyway. But because we're at 50%, as soon as we click next turn, we're probably going to capture this territory anyway. So it's really not that big a deal. So there you have it, folks. That is the easiest guide that I can make for this. It isn't an easy thing. And I highly recommend that if you do decide to start editing your game saves, which I don't necessarily recommend you do, but if you do decide to do it, here's some tips that I hope that you guys can do it a little bit safely, and always, always, always back up your game saves, folks. And at last, when you convert that file, and right before you bring over the other one, take the original JSON file that you loaded into the web address, okay? Take that game save and move it to a separate folder so that you have it just in case something goes wrong. You can easily bring it back. So, there you have it. Now, I will go over one last thing, and that last thing that I want to talk about is simple. If you do not have Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts open, if you've already closed it, and you put a JSON file into the Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts folder, and then you launch the game through Steam, it will automatically convert any JSON file in that folder back into a bin file. So don't freak out if you load in and all of a sudden you go up here and there's not a JSON file there, despite the fact that you gave a JSON file. What happened is, as soon as you launch, the game will take and convert the JSON into a save for whatever thing it is. So just, that's a warning as well. So just be warned that that is a possibility. Okay? So thank you guys so much. I know it's been a bit of a long episode. I'm going to have to cut some things here and there to try to make it streamlined. It is a technical episode, but this was something that has been requested a couple of times by people who have watched my streams, and I hope that this serves as a little bit of a guide for those of us out here who are tired of little bugs stopping us from grabbing this territory or that territory. Now, it's free reign, right? So thank you guys so much, and if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.